Hey, what's going on, guys? TC Blades here, and I have a box from Boker. I've never reviewed a Boker knife, but we're about to right now. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in, and be sure and hit that like and subscribe button. Now, we got a box today from Boker. I've never reviewed a Boker knife, and I'll be completely honest, Boker is, I just kind of always thought of it as your uncle's knife or your dad's or your grandfather's. That knife you always saw in his hunting pack or tackle box or glove box in the pickup, you know. And I knew they had a huge presence worldwide, but just never had the opportunity. And after Boker reaching out and saying, hey, do you want to take a look at a couple of things from us? I said, sure, why not? And they said, well, good, because I think you're going to be surprised. So, hey, thanks, Boker, for sending this over. I appreciate it, Zach. And let's get into this right now. This is the Boker Plus line, because I'm not sure if you know, but Boker has multiple lines. And this is the Kihon. All right, let's open this up. And I hope everybody's doing good today. I know I'm doing great. And very much looking forward to this. I've actually had this here for a little bit, but running behind, but I knew we were going to get to it eventually. All right, guys, what do we have here? All right, slide lock, crossbar lock. Whoa, that is nice. That's snappy. I tell you, crossbar locks have not normally been my cup of tea, just because there's always inconsistencies. And a lot of times not to try to call anybody out, but the people that, you never know. Anyways, so what we have here is a Lucas Burnley design. And he has been designing knives for Boker for a while. Some people might say, if looking at this for me, it's a bug out clone, bug out. You know, their entry into the bug out. I still have a number of bug outs, and I would venture to say this is raising the bar to a bug out. For one, these scales are terrific. And after reading the stats on these, they are a glass reinforced nylon. So a lot like the polymer gun stocks. And so it's strong. It's not just a gravelly plastic. And that I just cannot get over that, man. That is just, there's nothing I really hate more than when you get a crossbar lock out, access lock, whatever you want to call it, and it's so stiff or the detent is mushy, and people say, well, you got to break it in. Well, you shouldn't have to. I mean, yeah, some things, but you want to get a good feeling about a knife. This kind of action is just terrific. I mean, I can just sit there and flick this all day long. And I love the blacked out murder version. I think it also comes in a satin blade with satin hardware, but definitely loving this. And the specs on this, it's a full-size knife. It is coming in at an overall length of 7.87 inches with a blade length of 3.23 inches and a thickness of, I believe it's 130 thousandths. Let's see, I believe I'm on millimeters. Okay. Yeah, spot on. 130 thousandths thick. And you say, what kind of steel is it? It's D2. And I know, there we go again. You're going to have people saying, well, it's D2 steel. Why would I buy a D2 steel knife? Well, D2 steel, like 10 years ago, was a steel that nobody shunned. Nobody thought was second rate. And it's still not second rate. There are a ton of knives, great knives, still made in D2. I love D2. And I'm not saying this because this knife is sitting in front of me. If I had to stop and count the number of knives in my collection that are D2, it would probably surprise me, and I know it'd surprise you. So there's nothing wrong with D2 as long as the heat treat is right. And that's the key. And then I'm sure there's a group of people, well, this past year, D2 knife came out, and you could get it for $10 at Walmart. Are you talking about this knife? Okay? Or maybe this version, or at least scales, will look a little more familiar? Yeah, it did come out. And you know what? That's an amazing $10 knife. But this knife is not this knife, okay? This knife has steel liners, full steel liners, okay? This one doesn't, but yet it is just as strong. Pocket clip doesn't compare. Action doesn't compare. Now, we've been told that the heat treat is right, but if I had to ask 20 knife personalities in the community, whose heat treat would you trust more? Walmart's or Boker's? I don't even have to answer that question. Not to mention blade stock. We just talked about that. A blade stock coming in at 86 hundredths, not thousandths, 86 hundredths of an inch. That is almost half, or a little over half, the blade stock that's on the Boker Kihon. And last but not least, you're probably people saying, well, that's just such a basic knife. It is a basic knife. But that's what makes it great. This isn't your collector's knife. This isn't the knife you're going to hold with a white cotton glove. This is the knife that you're going to put one in your glove box. You're going to put one in your tackle box. You're going to have one at work. You're going to have one wherever. Because at the $49 price point and the quality that you're getting, you can afford to do that. But you also have that Boker quality that Boker is known for. And I'm going to tell you, I am really surprised. And after I realized that, hey, I'm going to have the chance to look at a Boker knife, I did something I've never done. And I'm almost ashamed to admit it. I went to the website and I sit down and I explored it. And let me tell you, do they still have the Trapper slip joints? Absolutely. Do they still have the pocket knives made from classic cars? Absolutely. But do they have oh so much more? Yeah. And what they are getting ready to release is, I think, going to surprise a lot of people. I really look forward to getting to visit with the Boker folks in Atlanta this year. And I'm not going to turn a cold shoulder to Boker anymore. I didn't have anything against them, but I assumed they didn't have anything I was interested in. But You would be surprised. So yeah, we're definitely going to put this knife to the paces. I see this one staying in my pocket quite a bit the next couple of weeks, and it's definitely entering the rotation. So hey, Boker, thank you so much for sending this, and I am going to try to beat the tar out of it. But until then, guys, tell me what you think. Tell me, hey, have you kind of shunned Boker lately? Have you not really been interested? Is it the forgotten knife brand that you didn't think about? Have you spent too much time focusing on all the Chinese knives that are out? And hey, I'm not knocking those. They're amazing. But I think Boker is about to remind everyone why Boker has been around for so long. Hey guys, be sure and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching this far. Tell me what you think. Tell me, you're interested in more Boker? Tell me if you own Bokers. Tell me your story. Hey, tell me what you didn't like about it. And most importantly, don't forget, I do this for you. I do it for him. Peace.